Wait. Before you guys think this is another video of somebody talking about a camera, reading spec sheets, it's not. I'm very fortunate. I've been able to use this Sony A7 III for the last 3 weeks prior to the announcement. And I'm going to be able to give you guys a full hands-on, in the field, F13, okay, review of this camera. Let's do it. So let's talk about this camera real quick, guys. What do I love about it? Has the form factor of the A7R III. In fact, it feels exactly the same as A7R III. You would know the difference between this and an R3 unless you just see the label. Outside of that, they're the same body. Same battery as the R3 and the A9, which is amazing. So much faster. In fact, the A7 III is the longest lasting rated battery out of any of the Sony mirrorless cameras. It's rated up to 720 shots. And I think that's over a prolonged use. I think you get a lot more out of that, to be honest with you. It's got the focus system of the A9. So what they did, Sony literally put the focus system of the A9 inside of the A7 III. It's like 693 focal points. They have the joystick on the back, which was such a huge addition for Sony mirrorless, and now they have it on the R3, the A9, and this guy. This is honestly like they got the R3 and the A9, those two got together, played some, Barry White, and they made a baby. Because the R3, it has the form factor, has all the looks and the feel of the R3, and then it has a lot of the brains of the A9. It really is a lot of DNA of those two cameras inside of this guy. Has the touch screen focus. This destroys the A7 II. I'm just letting you guys know. When people ask me, is it a worthy upgrade? This thing obliterates the A7 II. This camera has the focus system of the A9 in it. Why Sony did that? They're Sony claws. I don't know why they would put the focus system of a $4,500 camera into a $2,000 camera, but Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it is, to all of you guys out there, because Sony they did you a real solid. We were out in Death Valley, and I'm going to put in some of this footage here. What we're going to do is show you the focus test on the back of the camera. This is using the 85G Master. See how fast it picks her up. Move this way. Okay, move all the way over to this way. Okay, well, you went out of frame. Now come back. There we go. Go back. Now I'm just keeping my hand pressed on halfway on the trigger so it continues to look for focus. Take about 10 steps backwards. Okay, come forwards. Stop. Focus is right there. Okay. Take 3 steps back. Go this way. Wow, right into the edge until she moves out of it. Come back. Perfect. It says eye autofocus. Okay, take your sunglasses off. Okay. There we go. Shift your head that way. Okay, go 10 steps back. See how far it goes. Wow. Oh my goodness. Let's see how far it goes. Keep going. Okay, go this way. Yeah, you're gonna go out of frame. Keep going. Go straight back. Oh my gosh. Keep going. Okay. Just stop. She is so far away. Stay there. I'm going to take a picture with my phone so people can understand how far away I am. So I'm going to take a selfie here. Seriously, guys, if that doesn't blow you away, I don't know what will. It's picking up her eyes, her face, with an 85mm lens shot at f1.4. That's ridiculous. This is just like the A9, where it covers 93% of the sensor, 693 focal points, touchscreen autofocus. It's the best focus system out there, along with the A9 for Sony mirrorless. Now what I'm going to do here is show you guys an excerpt from another video that I have coming out. You can check this out. It's my Oak Alley Plantation shoot. This video will also come out on the same day as the review video. But it shows the follow focus on her and how it's going to get focus on 51 consecutive shots. And I'm watching the camera, it's finding her face in every shot. Now we shot these in high consecutive mode. The fastest on the A7 III is high plus, and what impressed me the most out of all of this was these were shot at 2/50th of a second, ISO 100 f1.4, and the fact that it caught focus on her every single time, and that her face is sharp. These are super crops of these shots, and that her face is sharp in 51 consecutive shots. That is just plain awesome. Again, the fact that they put this in their entry-level full-frame mirrorless camera is shocking to me. If you have been lusting after the focus system on the A9, now you can save $2,500 and get it with the 7 III. Now it should be stated that because I have a pre-announcement 7 III, I've shot RAW plus JPEG just so I have the RAWs available to me once those RAW profiles come out, but everything that I've been looking at are just JPEGs. So the fact that I've been able to work with these images and get some of the results that I've gotten with them is very exciting for me. The 7 III, the resolution on it, I think when anyone compares it to like the R3, you have to ask yourself, guys, how much resolution do you need? I love my A7R III. I loved my A7R II. And for certain vocations out there, maybe for landscape photography, some commercial photography, the R3 is going to be a better option. For, I think, the vast majority of photographers out there, 24 megapixels, and I've said this, I said it when the A9 came out, and I'm saying it again, 24 megapixels is the sweet spot. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This first shot here, again, this is the 12 to 24, so take a mental note. Look at how wide this shot is. And I think the biggest question people have is resolution. Check this out. Now these are untouched, straight out of the camera JPEGs. No trickery, no sharpening, nothing has been done to them. I can't shoot RAW because there are no RAW profiles for a camera that hasn't even been announced yet. So as you can see, this is a completely unedited JPEG. And guys, if you need more resolution than that, you must be Kanye West, because nobody needs to see themselves sharper than that. The resolution on this camera will not disappoint you. I think for the vast majority of my needs, I wouldn't need more resolution. 24 megapixels is faster to edit, it's faster to import, and it's less room to store. It's honestly just the best point for me as a photographer. Anybody they have to have the highest resolution, an R3 is going to be your option. But I think for a lot of other people, this little puppy's going to kill it. I've shot every Sony mirrorless camera out there. Not a little bit, I've shot them a lot. I mean, all of them. This is the best camera that I have used for ISO out of all of them, including the S2. I know, it's blasphemous, but I'm telling you, this ISO on this camera is ridiculous. We went down to Fremont Street in Vegas and we got in trouble, but after that, we went and went to an alley and filmed, and the ISO capabilities of this camera blew me away. 100. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is while I was out in this alleyway, I just left the aperture static at f4 and started cranking up the ISOs to see what we would get. 2500. This was the first time I really started cranking up the ISOs on this, and I thought the better way to do it was to show you guys video because you can see it for yourselves. This is completely ungraded, unedited, unprocessed footage. The camera has a native range of 100 to 51,200 for its native range. 51,200. And now we're really going to push it and get into the expanded range here. 80,000. 102,400. Now what I'm going to do... So guys, what I'm actually going to do now is adjust the apertures in tandem with the ISOs so we can actually create properly exposed images. In other words, how you would actually use ISO in a real working world environment. Our aperture should be all the way down to about f13. Okay? That's how you would use higher ISOs out here. For someone like me who shoots so many stills and video, this is a game changer. This enables me to use that 5-axis image stabilization that the camera has in tandem with higher ISOs to shoot insane low light scenarios with both stills and video. And to me, that's what technology should be about. It should be about making our jobs easier. And that's why ISO sensitivity like this is so critical for someone like me. Aperture down to 5.6, 16,000. Aperture down to f5, 8,000. Aperture down to 4.5, 5,000. Aperture down to f4. I shot this with the 12 to 24 Sony G lens, and f4 was the maximum aperture, so I didn't go down any further than this. But this should give you a great idea as to what the ISO on this camera can do. I think it's awesome. So when we need that camera to produce high ISO sensitivity for us, when we need it to give us the ability to see things that our naked eye can't see, it's usually when we're doing things that are handheld. Now, something you guys should know about me is the way that I do reviews is the way that I would approach it as a normal photographer. I don't put in the super duper fastest memory cards. I don't do that kind of stuff. In other words, when I do things like a buffer test, which I'm going to do for you guys right now, I stick in the fastest memory cards that I already own. Now, could I buy faster memory cards? Yeah, I could, but when I first buy a brand new camera, if you're anything like me, you're just going to have memory cards that are already on hand. The first thing we're going to do is a buffer test with this guy. I've put 2 memory cards in here. This is just the, they're just both Sony memory cards, and it's just a 128 gigabyte, 94 megabits per second. It's a UHS-3 class 10 card. Okay, so I have raw going to slot 1, JPEG going to the other, and this is at 10 frames per second. So 61, it's showing the reading time. Now, while it's in there, can I access the menu? Yes, I can. So even while it's writing, I can still access the menu, which is critical because sometimes you need to get to those functions. Okay, so I can still access the function menu on the Sonys, and it's already done writing. That was actually really fast. Now let's test it. I'm going to take out slot 2. Same thing, it's about 61, and you guys are watching how fast it's writing. One of the things that plagued mirrorless cameras when they first came out was the buffers honestly sucked. And so the newer generations of mirrorless cameras, Sony mirrorless, have really improved the buffer. Okay, now we're going to test the buffer just shooting JPEG extra fine, which is the largest JPEG in the camera, in just slot 1. Here we go. $124. You guys can see the number counter up there. Same card. Here we go. Wow. And it's unable to write to memory card while it's loading. It's about 22. The A7 III has a 10 frames per second mechanical shutter. So you may be asking yourself, well, why does that matter? Because I don't use a flash that fires 10 frames per second. Well, people like me do. And let me show you what I'm talking about. So the lighting looks a little bit different because what we've done is we're showing you a little bit of a BTS here. What we've done is we've removed our diffuser. We're filming in the hotel room here in Vegas because the announcement is tomorrow night. And if you're watching this, you've just seen the announcement and this video has been released. We've tested this out in the field, but I want to show it to you guys here right now. So what we're going to do is I am using the Rotolite EOS, which has no recycle time on it. 1, 2, 3. I So an epileptic seizure coming my way. What's going on? That was so many freaking shots. Now you may be asking yourself, when in the world are you going to sit in the W Hotel in Las Vegas and fire a flash at yourself and giving yourself a seizure? Well, you're probably not going to do that because you're not as deranged as I am. But what you are going to do is you are going to go to a wedding and you're going to get a bouquet toss and you're going to see it go click, 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 click.
Amazing. Amazing.
You're going to do senior portraits and you're going to shoot a soccer player, a football player, somebody who plays sports. And you're going to get every single click of their action. That's a game changer for photographers. And it's something that I always talk about. It's something the average person out there cannot do. That is why you buy gear. That's why you get technology. You get it because it enables you to do things that other people cannot do. We live in a world full of iPhonographers. Everybody has a camera. Everybody's a picture taker. If you can't find the gear and then use your talent combined with that gear to be different and better than the average person out there, you're going to be out of a job. And that's why I love things like this camera that give me the options to do that. The 4K video on this, I think, is comparable to the other Sony cameras that are out there, which is, in my opinion, gorgeous. The vast majority of my videos that have been over the last year that I filmed in the last 2017 or newer are almost all 4K because I've been filming them on the A7R3 and the A9, which I love. This guy is no different. The 4K has full pixel readout and no pixel binning, which means better quality. So it does XAVCS 4K, XAVCS HD, and AVC HD. Who cares? You shouldn't be shooting in AVC HD. It sucks. In regards to the record settings, it does 30p at 100 megs, 30p at 60 megs, 24p at 100 megs, and 24p at 60 megabits. In regards to slow-mo and stuff, it'll do 30p and 24p at 1080 HD. And then frame rates, it'll go all the way up to 120 frames per second. The build quality on the camera is awesome. I have not babied this camera. I haven't. Sony knows what they get when they give me a camera. They know they're going to get a real world look at the camera. Somebody who's not going to baby it. Guys, I took this to Bourbon Street during Mardi Gras. Seriously. People bumping into me. Putting it on the ground, filming crazy crap. Shooting in the rain, full on rain. Here are some shots to show you that we were shooting in the rain. Camera wasn't covered. I did this crazy promo video for my Patreon channel, which you'll see at the end of this. I mean, I really put this camera through its paces, which I do all of my cameras. And the reason I do that is I have a saying, I don't abuse, but I use my gear. If I have cameras that won't work for me, if I have cameras that I have to baby, they're worthless. They're worthless. And so I refuse to baby any of my gear. I certainly put it away, I clean it, I make sure it has nice holders and everything. But when it's time to work, I work, and my gear has to work. This guy, it works. The camera has 15 stops of dynamic range, so when we're editing those shots, we can actually pull out that shadow detail and we can get what we need out of our images, especially when we're in some of the situations like I'm in where we're running away from people or doing crazy stuff. Dynamic range is awesome because we're shooting, and a lot of times it's handheld, and being able to use dynamic range to our benefit as photographers in this day and age with the technology that exists, it's a huge benefit to us. I think the only thing that I can think of that I would really like to see on this is, and this isn't just the A7 III, this is all of them, we record a lot of video. And what I wish the Sonys did is I wish we could change the audio recording level without having to access the movie menu, because we shoot a lot of things in manual, and so without having, you know, it's not the end of the world, but not having to go into the movie menu to do that would be awesome. Where does this camera sit in the lineup of all Sony cameras? I'll be the first to admit to you, I'm spoiled. I own all the Sony mirrorless cameras. If I had to buy a camera for myself, for my family, for my team, for somebody else, I'd buy the A7 III. Without a doubt. Not even thinking about it. And you may say, well, that's because it's the cheapest. Well, yeah, of course it's the cheapest, but it is a killer camera. That's the thing that floors me, is the fact that there's no huge difference between it. See, normally there's a huge difference between the top of the line, like an A9 and the 7 III, and there's just really not a huge difference. Yeah, the A9's faster with electronic shutter. This has a faster mechanical shutter. Yeah, the A9 has some more dials and stuff, but is it worth $2,500? Only you can answer that question. This is a crazy good camera compared to the R3. The R3 is an awesome camera. It's this with higher resolution, but this has a better focus system than the R3. I would take this camera and shoot anything with it. I think it's really going to appeal to wedding photographers, portrait photographers, sports photographers. It's crazy fast. So long story short, I give this camera, more than any camera that I've used, my full-on recommendation. It is a quantum, huge, meteoric leap over the A7 II. It's a very worthy sibling to the R3 and the A9, and I think it can hang with its bigger brothers. And the fact that it costs so much less means I think it's going to be available to so many more of you out there. When we use this technology to our advantage, we win, and we get ahead of our competition, and we stay ahead of the picture takers out there, and we can make our living as a photographer and live our dreams. And that's what I love to help people do. So I hope this has helped. I really do. I can't thank my team, Allie and Quisha, enough for being with me along for this ride. Please let me know what questions you have. I want to make something very, very clear. I haven't bashed Nikon or Canon or whatever. Anytime I post a gear-related video, we get Sony sucks, Nikon sucks, Canon sucks. Nobody sucks. You just have to find a gear that works for you. So until next time, keep shooting, never give up on your dreams, find a gear that works for you, and remember, you only have one chance to get it right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Stick around for this. All right, this is a cool place to shoot. Get the gear out. Let's, this is awesome. Huh?
Let me have your stuff. That's what you get for not putting me in a magazine.
You I hate models.
And take your stupid camera too.
One-handed baby.
Ooh, spending money. All right.
She's totally not going on the next trip. Oh! Santa Maria Guadalupe! Only one chance to get it right. Are you still there? I'm talking to you. If you want to continue this madness online and learn anywhere from the world with me, go to patreon.com/JasonLanierPhotography. And if you want to join this madness, and yes, my crazy but awesome models, go to jasonlanier.com/register and you guys can party and shoot with us anywhere in the world. So until next time, keep shooting. Never give up on your dreams. Find the right gear that works for you, and remember, you only have one chance to get it right. Allie, where's my money? Allie? She freaking left. Models. heads up, if you're watching this video, we have a ton of in the field shooting videos with the A7 III, so make sure to check those out. They are going to be on my YouTube channel. They're going to be released very, very, very soon after the release of this video, so make sure to check those out so you can see this camera in action. The truth is, the vast majority of people who are going to buy this camera are wedding photographers, event photographers, sports photographers I think would love this camera, portrait photographers even. I mean, this camera fits an enormous need. I think it hits like 80% of the market. It's why I think this camera is going to be the best-selling Sony mirrorless out there, hands down. It's the right price point. It's just a rockin' camera, and I am more excited about this camera than I've been about one of the Sony mirrorless for a while. And I want to make it clear, I'm not just being really over the moon about this camera because I'm a Sony artisan. Yes, I am a Sony artisan of imagery, but I'll be honest with you guys, they give us a lot of autonomy. They let us talk about the cameras. They let us really dive into the cameras because they want to know, they want to make their consumers happy. It's why they keep coming out with cameras. And to that end, when people say, oh, they come out with cameras quickly, they just came out with the R3, I mean this in all due respect. Why do we complain about it? If anything, it cuts into their margins. If anything, it drops the prices of their previous cameras. If anything, it just gives us more choices. See, for the longest time, the biggest complaint for us photographers were we didn't have choices. Every camera company waited 3-4 years before releasing a new camera body. The fact that we're getting these camera bodies from Sony and we can just implement this new technology immediately, to me, I think is huge.